My name is Daniel Garcia. What I'm about to tell you changed my life forever. It was just a normal Tuesday when the tsunami hit the coast of California. I was working construction on the 14th floor of a new building in San Jose, while my wife Maria had taken our kids Emma, 8, and Lucas, 5, to visit her mother in Santa Cruz, about 40 miles south along the coast. I still remember the moment everything changed. My phone kept buzzing with emergency alerts. When I finally answered, Maria's voice was shaking. "I love you. The water is coming." Then nothing. Just static. Then silence. That was the beginning of the longest 2 weeks of my life. After the tsunami hit, everything fell apart. Cell towers down, roads washed away, chaos everywhere. I tried everything to reach Santa Cruz, but police had blocked all roads going south. "Your family has probably been evacuated," they told me. "Stay put. Let the rescue teams do their job." I tried. I really did. For 3 days, I stayed in our apartment, glued to the TV and emergency radio broadcasts. 3 days of hearing about thousands missing, seeing the destruction get worse with each report. 3 days of calling Maria's phone, only to hear that automated voice. The number you are trying to reach is not available. On the 4th morning, I knew I couldn't wait anymore. No one was going to find my family for me. I had to do it myself. Our family had an emergency plan. If we ever got separated during a disaster, we would meet at Maria's cousin Jenny's house in Sacramento. But with the roads closed and no working transportation, the only way to get there was to walk. 500 miles through a disaster zone. I packed light, water, protein bars, a small first aid kit, a flashlight, and the most important thing, our family photo taken last Christmas. It would be my map when there were no maps, my reason to keep going when my body wanted to quit. As I left our apartment, our neighbor Mrs. Chen saw me with my backpack. "You're going to find them, aren't you?" she asked. I nodded. "Then take this," she said, handing me a small compass. My husband used it when he hiked. It still works without batteries or cell service. I didn't know then how important that compass would become. The first day, I walked 20 miles through flooded streets. Everything looked different, landmarks gone, street signs missing. Sometimes I had to wade through knee-deep water that smelled of gasoline and sewage. By sunset, I reached a high school that had been turned into a shelter. Hundreds of people on cots, volunteers with clipboards, the organized chaos of disaster response. I showed Maria's photo to everyone. No one had seen them. A volunteer looked at my blistered feet and tried to convince me to stay. "We get updated lists of evacuees every day," she said. "Your chances of finding them are better if you stay in one place." But something inside me knew better. I had to keep moving. That night, I slept on the gym floor, surrounded by strangers with their own stories of loss. Before dawn, I was walking again. By the 7th day, I was a different person. I'd lost weight. My clothes were filthy. The soles of my boots were wearing thin. But I kept going, one town to the next, showing that family photo. Many times the edges were soft and worn. Then came the bridge, or what was left of it, half collapsed. It was the only way across a swollen river. As I carefully made my way across, a section gave way. I fell about 15 feet, landing hard on my left leg. The pain was immediate and blinding. When I looked, my ankle was already swelling, turning purple. For the first time since I'd started, I thought, I can't do this. I sat there by the riverbank as the sun set, staring at our family photo through tears. What if I was going the wrong way? What if they weren't in Sacramento at all? What if ... The sound of an engine broke through my thoughts. An old pickup truck had stopped on what remained of the bridge. The driver, an older man with a gray beard, called down to me, "You look like you need help. Brother, where you headed?" When I told him I was looking for my family, he didn't ask questions. He just helped me up to the road and into his truck. "I can't take you far," he said. "Fuel's too scarce, but I can get you to Modesto. It's on your way." Sometimes angels look like old men in beaten-up trucks. On the 10th day, limping into a community center in Modesto, I got my first real lead. A coordinator was checking a handwritten list of names people who had passed through shelters in the area when she said, Garcia Maria Garcia, with 2 children. My heart nearly stopped. They had been there 3 days ago. And they had left a note. We are safe. Going to Jenny's house in Sacramento. In that moment, all the pain in my leg disappeared. They were alive. They were following our plan. They were waiting for me. The last 50 miles were the hardest physically, but the easiest mentally. I knew where I was going. I knew they would be there. Every step, despite the pain in my ankle, felt lighter. I walked day and night, stopping only when I absolutely had to. Kind strangers gave me rides for short stretches when they could. One family even let me sleep on their couch and gave me fresh socks, a gift that meant more than they could ever know. When I finally reached Sacramento on the 14th day, I went straight to Jenny's address. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely knock on the door. The moment stretched into eternity. Then, the sound of the lock turning ... When Maria opened that door, time stopped. Her eyes widened. Her hand went to her mouth, and she whispered my name like a prayer. Daniel. Then Emma and Lucas appeared behind her, and their screams of "Daddy" were the most beautiful sound I've ever heard. As I held them all in my arms, feeling their heartbeats against mine, I knew. This was why I had walked 500 miles. This was why I had kept going when every logical thought told me to stop. Some people say the tsunami was the worst natural disaster in our history. And it was terrible, the destruction, the loss of life, the communities washed away. But it also showed me something I might never have discovered otherwise, the depths of human resilience, the kindness of strangers, and most importantly, the unbreakable bond of family. If you take anything from my story, let it be this: never give up on the people you love. Keep walking, keep hoping, keep believing no matter how impossible the journey seems. Because some things are worth walking 500 miles for.